This is literally just right outside my house. My neighbors have a bunch of cows, and it's amazing. So my buddy Paul, I do a lot of work with him, and he hired me on as kind of additional support for this weekend, as well as some equipment rental and whatnot. Especially for the first day, we did a big multicam thing. But this is a client of his. He does a ton of work for them, and it's always nice just having more of a support role instead of, having to do the whole thing. So shout out to Paul. Thanks for bringing me on this weekend. I appreciate it, man. So we were getting everything loaded into location. This was a multicam coverage for a music performance. We had 5 cameras. This was a mixture of a bunch of different Sony cameras. So we had an FX6, 2 FX3s, a Sony A7S III, and then we had a Sony A7 IV. And I love this new Sackler backpack that I have. I ordered it a couple of months ago on B&H. They had like a daily special, and this was like half price. But it's really deep, and you can fit like a fully rigged out camera system in here, and it has a little harness so you can strap it down so it doesn't move around a ton, and then it has little pockets. It's all pretty customizable, which is nice. So I had my A7 IV already built out in this backpack here. And then I have my FX3s. If you guys have seen this configuration before, it's pretty much just a soft padded tool case inside a hard tool case. So if I need to transport them, I can leave them in the hard cases, but if I get onto location, I can just take the soft case out with the camera built in and not have a big footprint. So we had set up the 2 Sackler tripods that had the really nice heads on it for our follow cameras. Since this was me and Paul, we had 3 cameras that were stationary, and then we had 2 cameras that were kind of roaming. Paul was on one of them, and I was on the other one, and we both had telephoto lenses. One lens was the Tamron 35 to 150, and then the other lens was the 150 to 600 Sigma lens. So this was pretty much a full dress rehearsal for a performance that was happening over the weekend. And we were able to put the cameras wherever we wanted, essentially, and not ruin someone's view during the live performance that night. So that's kind of what we were doing, more of like a dress rehearsal, but still capturing 5 camera angles. Check 1 2 1 2.
Do you have a preference which one you want to run?
Doesn't matter to me. Yeah,
okay.
Whatever one you want me on.
Maybe we just switch back and forth.
Okay.
So we
get even coverage.
Yeah.
Cool.
Capture different stuff.
Sweet. The coverage was pretty simple on this shoot. It was just kind of follow the action. And then me and Paul were obviously on comms, so he was covering a portion of the stage, and I was covering the other portion of the stage. And we would kind of coordinate back and forth on who we were locked on, and kind of where he was a little bit more familiar with this type of work, so he was able to direct me and tell me who he wanted me to really focus on, which was really nice. Having those comms, I felt like we were really able to maximize the amount of footage we were able to get. So just made it to location. This is day 2 filming at a local university here. And today's gonna be pretty simple. We're just getting a ton of B-roll. They're having like a special event at the campus here, and we're just getting B-roll. It's like an all-day thing, today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's like homecoming and all that, so yeah, just tons of B-roll. So I'll give you guys a look at my setup here. It's slightly different from, obviously when I film interviews and whatnot. So no innovative cart today. Everything's gonna be for B-roll. So I have a camera package in there, some additional support like lenses and whatnot, and then I have a monopod, tripod, and then a bunch of batteries. I'm probably just gonna bring camera and like a little bag like this for batteries and go handheld. So this is kind of my handheld rig. I'm probably just gonna put a shark fin with 2 batteries. So it's definitely gonna be heavy, but I just don't want to have to worry about changing my battery for the day. I think that should last me pretty much all day. I do have a charger in the van here, so I can charge batteries if I need to, or I can just charge my phone right there. But yeah, so I got my 360 cam on top of camera. I'll put that on today so you guys can get kind of more of a view of what we're doing. Also added a additional handle, the FX3 little side grip here, not very comfortable, so this is much better. Right here I'm showing you guys kind of my handheld setup for the day. This is my makeshift cine saddle that I'm kind of using to stabilize handheld footage, and also just comfort throughout the day. Like obviously I have a pretty heavy camera, so it's nice being able to rest it on something. I will say this is not ideal. This wasn't really made for that setup. So the strap and the placement, it does start to hurt quite a bit around your neck for long periods of time. Just the way it's distributed, it's not as good as like the Cine saddle or other types of harnesses like that. But this is all I had, so I was able to make do, and I feel like the footage definitely was a lot more stable. And I kind of actually prefer this to... I do have a Easy Rig, but honestly that thing is so cumbersome and you just take up such a big footprint having that and going through doorways, and it's just... I didn't really want to... I wanted to kind of blend in a little bit more. Like sometimes with B-roll, if someone knows that you're videoing, they just kind of freeze up and look awkward and kind of don't really want to be videoed. As opposed to the Easy Rig, you can see that thing coming from like a mile away, and you know exactly, what you're doing with that. But I just find this to be a little bit more low key for sure. Honestly, we filmed so much footage over this weekend. I didn't really have a ton of time to go through and pull the best clips, so this is literally just whatever I could find in like 5 minutes. But you guys can definitely get a look and a feel for what we were trying to capture. So it's 8:34 Saturday morning. This is day 3 of working with the university, homecoming weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day. Yesterday we were out in the sun, outside all day, and now we're gonna do the same thing again, but it's gonna be a little bit more intense on the schedule. So I'm excited. It's gonna be good. And this is my current sandbag situation. I got a variation of 15, 20, 25s. And then I have some like my first sandbags where I didn't even weigh them. I just put Ziploc bags with sand in them and just, that's kind of what I did when I first started. So I still have those, but they just take up so much space. And I don't really use the heavy 25 pounds that much anymore. Unless, you know, I'm outside. But all the stuff that I've been doing, just, it's too much weight. And they're just too big. Even when I have them on my innovative cart, they just take up so much space. And there's maybe like 10 bags here. Maybe a little bit more, maybe like 10 or 12. But still, it's like no one can ride with me. It's just sandbags. So let's see if we can make this a little bit better. And these are the new sandbags. So these are actually shot bags, 15 pounds, and they're like half the size of a traditional sandbag. But same weight. These are custom made or made to order. I ordered some with orange handles, even though they read a little bit red, but yeah. So the goal is to put all 8 down here. So they were shipped in these priority mail USPS boxes, 2 in each box, and shipping was free. And if you know anything about ordering like heavy equipment, usually it's not free. So, or this fast. A lot of other companies wanted to do like a freight shipping, but these guys put 2 in a box and shipped it priority. I ordered on Tuesday and they arrived yesterday, Friday. So that's amazing that they were able to do that. I'll put a link for the company that I ordered from in the description below. So this is much better. 8 bags in total, 15 pounds. Heavy duty hand sewn grips. These little handles, they have the 15-pound marker. They were also, on the website, you can print like a logo on them as well. I didn't do that because it was like, I think a lot more expensive. I think it was like 250 bucks for like, just to put a logo on all 8. So I'm like, it's good. I'll use some like spray paint or something later. But, yeah, this is much cleaner than my last setup. I had bags literally up to here. So that is like a third of the height. Someone could still ride in here. You know, it might be a little bit uncomfortable if they're also living in the South. Lots of people hunt. On the other side there, so you hear gunshots like that pretty frequent. My dog's barking. But yeah, as I was saying, it's definitely a much cleaner solution. These guys will take up like half the space on my cart as well. So
Get that. Did you try again?
shut up, sorry. So yeah, I'm super stoked on these, and honestly, I have to give Peter Mokri a shout out because he's the one that kind of turned me on to shop bags. His setup was the thing that really sold me. I think he has 20-pound sandbags. I went for 15 just to make them even smaller. And I don't use a ton of weight when I'm like indoors. You know, maybe just one of these little guys just to hold down the C-stand. If I'm outside, I'll definitely bring the sandbags, the 25 pounds. But yeah, definitely a shout out to Peter for the inspiration on these guys.
This was the actual homecoming football game, and I wasn't able to get too much kind of behind the scenes on this just because we were moving so fast. It was tons of people, very action packed. So I wasn't able to get a ton of behind the scenes, and I think that's okay. You guys kind of understand what this job was about, and I don't need to really make it any longer. But here's a look at some of the clips that I was able to capture during the actual game. So for all the B-roll this week, I was filming with my FX3, and I had the Tamron 35 to 150 on the whole entire time, and that's such a great lens for B-roll because you can get some semi-wide shots, some mediums, and then some tights for sure. Also, Paul has a YouTube channel for his production company, so I'm going to put that link in the description below, so feel free to check that out and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog, and feel free to leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.